Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trae Holiday. And joining me on the set right now is our buddy, Justin Carter, Capitol Hill, Seattle blog. What's up, Justin?
Good morning. I can't wait for this vacation. This is the tryout show, right?
Yeah.
Where if I make it, I get to go.
I love it. You know what? I'm telling you, it's that energy all week. So you're not the first one to be like, wait a minute, let me get my bags packed. I feel you. And really, everybody is ready for that sun. I'm going to tell you right now, the crew has been so excited. So you know what? We got to still do our news part.
All right.
So I'm glad that you're here, Justin.
A little bit of work before the Pelican beer. Let's go.
There we go. There we go. It looks like first up, we have this news about, the Sawant Recall. Let's go ahead and put that motion graphic up there. But there's a lot going on. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's here. The general election we just got done with, but some of the biggest decisions politically for District 3 are about to happen. The ballots go out this week, literally, in a recall election of the longest sitting member of the city's city council. It's a pretty amazing moment. It's also one of the strangest little elections that the county and the city has ever seen, and we're right in the middle of it, and it's just getting ready now. Ballots are coming out, and we're trying to answer questions for people because it's confusing. We don't do a lot of recalls here.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. A lot of people are just like, so what does this mean? What does it look like on the other side? Let's try to play this out a little bit here. Now, if Sawant is not recalled, then is it just the same business as usual?
Business as usual, though I suppose politically it's pretty empowering in that we talk about mandates out of elections. It's a pretty big mandate if she's able to shake this and move past a lot of opposition. So it's business as usual with her, maybe an advancement in her place politically if people decide to vote no on this recall.
Yeah, and I'll say, we saw some, I think, surprising things as we talk about Seattle being a progressive city in this general election. If she is recalled, what does that look like on the other side? What happens, Justin?
Well, the logistics are the thing we can talk about first. What would happen is she's immediately recalled. It's not like there's a grace period or anything like that. Basically, she's removed from office after the vote is certified. The next step after that is a replacement process in which people will apply, names will come forward, the city council will pick and appoint a person to replace Sawant, finish the term through the next general election. So there's a lot of confusion about that. I've seen it misreported all around. The message is, though, that the replacement would only serve through next November, which is the next general election. And then another election would take place to fill the seat. So you're talking about District 3 voters are going to have a lot of ballots to deal with if they approve this and decide to recall their council member.
Well, this has been, a story for us to follow indeed. And I'm so glad that you've been really up on it so that we can keep our audience engaged and informed and actually keep myself informed because I'm not a D3 resident, right? Yeah, no, so I get to see all of this happening before my eyes.
That's a key thing, too. Like if you don't get a ballot, don't freak out. You may not, it's only District 3 voters. So you're talking about 75,000 people in the city who live or voters who live in that district. Turnout, it's hard to say. It's a really strange election. It's coming December 7th is the voting day. It's right in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So it's not really sure how many, a few thousands of people are actually going to make this decision. So it's really going to be the whole city turning to look at places like Capitol Hill and the Central District on a really big question for the city's future.
Well, before we move on to the next story, it seems like as this has been playing out, that both sides have just been kind of lobbying their side, like, doing their own door knocking campaigns, trying to get people to understand why the recall, they wanted the recall at all. And then Sawant's folks and people that are supportive of Sawant have been like, hey, this is why you guys got to keep Sawant in. How have you really been seeing this play out? Because I feel like it's just kind of been a battle of these two sides.
Yeah, we haven't even really talked about the big questions or reasons she's being recalled. It's things like the charges that were brought against her for supposedly organizing a protest march that went to the mayor's undisclosed address, those kinds of things, misuse of her office. But those are taking a bit of a real side seat to the bigger questions about her character. And the Seattle Times editorial board made a point to talk about just the lack of decorum in the way that she works. And it's not really about those charges anymore in lots of ways. For the two sides, that I talk to the most in the campaigns. It's also almost like logistics now in the strategy. For Sawant, it's about getting what they call the largest get out the vote effort the city's ever seen in order. And, that's a team that's really good at that kind of thing. On the other side, the Recall Sawant campaign is busy continuing to kind of bang the drum about what a divisive character she can be, despite some of the progressive things that she's accomplished and pushed for. And so that's, that message continues. And it only gets heavier in places like the comments on our site. You'll see social media and Facebook is a bit of a war zone over this, of course, as these two sides really do argue about kind of the core to some questions about the city's progressive future. I mean, how left-leaning, how hard do we want to push on these social issues? One side, we want to push really hard, right? That's the Sawant side. The other side is looking for a more moderate, a less of an aggressive tone. And so they're looking at an opportunity to eliminate a real leader on the far left here in Seattle.
Wow. We'll see how this plays out. This is quite intriguing, to be honest. I mean, just watching it play out. Again, I don't have any voting rights in this. So I just say thank you for being here to, make sure that we understand the facts around what's going on. But you're calling it out, kind of what some of the things I'm seeing play out, that it's not really about the charges that brought on the recall. It's kind of now about her character. Well, we have a little bit more to dive into. The Rapid Ride also being built out there. Tell us a little bit more about this.
Sure. I mean, there's a massive construction project to recreate a bus line, or to create a bus line that's going to run all the way from the waterfront through the kind of heart of the city to Madison Valley. And it's going to play out over the course of years. The Rapid Ride G line going across Madison and East Madison, crossing downtown, Capitol Hill, First Hill, Central District, Madison Valley. It won't even be in service until 2024. As you can imagine, the route to get there and get that built is going to affect a lot of lives. There's going to be detours. For example, there's one part where if you're heading east, I believe, on Madison now for the next couple months, you have to leave the street and get off on a detour. Those kinds of things are extremely impactful for people that live along the route and for small businesses too. And there's not a lot of tools, not a lot of resources that are set aside, especially for those businesses. And so a lot of them are frustrated and feeling left out.
Well, my main thing is, this is so intriguing. I mean, just last night, I was part of a panel for the film Ramps to Nowhere. And it was literally talking about the entire community effort to stop the building of RH, Freeway and the Bay Freeway and really I-90 as well, even though I-90 ended up happening. But the ideas of the disruption that it causes to neighborhoods, to communities, what is it looking like right now in terms of this Rapid Ride and the way they're expanding?
Yeah, this is quite a different situation. While it's very disruptive, it's the kind of progress that a lot of people really believe the city needs as far as transportation goes. The Ramps to Nowhere situation was about kind of expanding the freeway culture of the nation. And it was, part of just a radical, really rapid expansion that really did break up a lot of communities and a lot of cities. The hope for the Rapid Ride system is to create something that's better for an equity standpoint for neighborhoods that really need a better transit connection to the city. And while there won't be a light rail line, there will be more dedicated bus service. And the other day I went from downtown to West Seattle in 20 minutes, and we have a real big issue right now with West Seattle and the bridge. But even then, because of the Rapid Ride investments, it was a fantastic route and just a day saver for me. So those are the kinds of things that I think we'll hopefully see in 2024. We just have to get there. It's a long process.
Yeah, it really is. And, I'm out in Federal Way, so I'm dealing with the expansion of the light rail right now. And everybody is just really excited about it. And, they started Rapid Ride really from Federal Way to Tukwila with the A line. And so I used to ride the bus then, and I got to be one of the patrons that was like, this is actually really cool, coming every 10 minutes, making sure that during the rush hour, there were sometimes it was even coming every 5 minutes. So the ideas of like Rapid Ride transit, I think, is something that would benefit the city. But you're right. Right now, people are dealing with the effects of it. And you're saying it's really just a disruption for some of those small businesses, but it doesn't mean that they have to close. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I know of any that are closing specifically because of the construction. The way they're phasing the construction is designed to be the least possible disruption for people who live there and the businesses. For example, they're doing a couple blocks at a time with the heavy stuff, as far as ripping out the concrete and repaving and doing utility work and those kinds of things, and then coming back and doing lighter stuff later. And I think that the hope is that for areas that are really disrupted, it'll only be like 2 months at a time. That being said, 2 months, of really slow business around Christmas or something like that could really be a problem for shops and for services and those kinds of things. The city's hoping that businesses will take care of it, or take advantage of existing programs like the Small Business Stabilization Fund, for example, as one way to find some financial mitigation to help them get through this period.
Well, at least there's some resources out there. And ultimately, I think this is a great conversation to be having, because we do need more transit in our city. And if we can do it in a way that is not going to cause harm and disruption, for me, maybe that's the way that they've learned lessons from that crazy freeway expansion that we had before. So, now you're going to get me to a topic that's like, come on, man, let's throw this up here.
Talk about disruptions.
Yeah, like talk about disruptions. I mean, Dicks, are you serious? Dicks no longer being on Broadway. What's going on?
Slow down now. See, that's what people were freaking out on Facebook about too. You got to read the article. No, I understand headlines can be scary sometimes. The good news is that Dicks is not going anywhere in the long term. The bad news, though, is that we will start the new year 2022 on Capitol Hill without Dicks Burger, which is something we haven't been able to say. It's 60 years or something like that. So it's a pretty monumental moment for folks who enjoy, I guess, a cheap, fast food lunch on Broadway. They're doing an overhaul. They haven't done a redesign and kind of fixing the kitchen and those kinds of things in a really long time, decades. So the current closure, I think, is planned to start December 13th. So you talk about important dates in District 3. You've got the December 7th recall. A week later, having to face the temporary but long-term closure of your Dicks drive-in. So yeah, these are stressful times in the district.
Oh my goodness. Look, people are going to need that comfort food, depending on how this vote goes. And my question then is, what does it look like in terms of, you're saying maybe a long-term closure? Did they already give some anticipation of when they may be done with all of their renovations?
Yes, they're saying spring of 2022, which I don't want to be, add any negativity to kind of end this segment, because it's a good time. You guys are getting ready. So don't worry too much about this, but things during the pandemic have gotten really slowly for construction. Permits are slow because the city's backed up just for lots of catch up on projects, and there's not enough people to do the paperwork and those kinds of things. But if anybody can get this done, Dicks is just been part of the fabric here in the city for a really long time. And I know some people have political issues with the family, that it's a long time family owned. But just from the kinds of businesses that know how to work their way through the city and red tape and deal with permits, I'm pretty sure Dicks is going to get all the help it needs to get those permits done, and we'll probably be back in business early spring is what I'm expecting.
Oh my goodness, man. You're right about that. It's just such a staple of the community. At least it's not vanishing. Okay. I know I follow Vanishing Seattle. Nope. We don't need it to be vanishing. Nope. It's such
this is CapitolHillSeattle.com, not Vanishing Seattle.
There we go. Yeah. And you know what? One of the things I will say too is that there's always this debate. And I was just in California between In-N-Out Burger and Dicks Burgers. And I don't know, man. I'm still a local fan of our local chain right here, man. I got to tell you.
How about no comment? I'm from California. There's another strike against me.
Justin,
no. Sorry.
No, well, you know what? As always, you always bring some great energy and great information for us. Thank you so much for the work you're doing and for being here. If folks want to learn more and read up on these stories, how do they get in touch with Capitol Hill Seattle blog?
Great. Yeah, check out CapitolHillSeattle.com or go follow me on Twitter at JSeattle, and having a fantastic trip. I'm so excited for you guys. I cannot wait to see what you all come back with and what you have to say about it. It's such a beautiful place.
Oh, thanks so much, Justin. We are looking forward to it at the end of the week. And, we're doing the week right by bringing you on this week. So thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.